Hi, I'm Marius from MWS Photography, and welcome back to another episode of Digital Photography Today, the show where you will learn how to become the master of your camera. Now, back in episode 2, we discussed how to properly focus on a subject, and that's really important because you don't want the background to be in focus and your subject matter out of focus. Or maybe you're taking a picture of a flower. You don't want the weeds in the background to be in focus and your flower out of focus. So it's really important that you get the correct focus points to make sure the correct subject matter is in focus. Now, you might have run into some problems where you try to focus on a subject but you couldn't get proper sharp focus on it. Now, we are going to discuss two things that will go wrong when your camera tries to autofocus. The first one is lack of light. If your camera does not have enough light, it will struggle to get proper focus. Now, this might be you're shooting outside, might be past sunset, or just dark at night, maybe a darkish room, not a lot of light in there. Anywhere where there's a lack of light. I'm going to show you on the camera how you can assist with this. It's called the Autofocus Assist Beam, or AF Assist Beam. I'm going to show you where to turn it on, how to get the camera to use it. And then I'm going to show you how to add some extra light, or how to take a picture of someone who's really far away and you can't get a light out there to get the camera to see them where it must focus. The second thing is lack of contrast. If you do not have enough contrast, your camera will also struggle to focus. I'm going to show you how that works as well, more practically in a few moments. Okay, so let's first look at the first one, which is lack of light. Now, on the camera, here I've got the Canon PowerShot. If I turn the camera on, I'm first going to take the lens cap off. Now, I'm going to point the camera here at the video light. Obviously, there's a lot of light right here. So if I point it here and I focus halfway, you can see immediately the camera goes bleep, it's happy to take a picture. But if I take the lens cap and I put it on here, this is now the same as having a dark room. You're going to see that when I try to focus, this light right here should come on. Sometimes it just waits again. Just wait a few seconds. If I press it again, there we go. There's the light try to go on again. It tried to illuminate the subject. So if the camera can't see someone, this light is going to go on. It's going to try and illuminate the subject, and then the camera can try and focus on that subject matter again. So this is called the Autofocus Assist Beam. On this camera, it's right here in the corner. You'll see, for instance, on the Nikon D3100, it's there again. So this camera is pretty small, especially for my big hands. So some people tend to do this. They hold the camera like this to take a picture, and then their fingers are in the way of this light. If this light can't go on like there, I should shine now. If that light doesn't go on, sometimes this is also in the way, but it should be fine. The light can still go past that. I'm going to show you on the Canon PowerShot how to use it in a dark room. But as long as that light cannot shine properly, you're going to have problems focusing. Now, I'm going to show you in a moment where to turn this on this camera, because sometimes it might be off as standard. On the D3100, it's really easy to turn this on the SLR camera. If you've got a different camera, please don't email me with every camera you've got and ask me how to turn on this Autofocus Assist Beam. Of course, there's tons of cameras and everyone's got their own way of turning it on. So read your manual, because I can't help you with all the cameras. Okay, so this one, very easy. Just make sure the camera's lens is set to automatic focus. It must not be on manual focus. Then, very important, if I turn the camera on, the focus point is now in the center. So if I focus, you're going to see there the light should turn on. You should be able to see it there on the camera. Now, the camera is trying to focus. It's obviously not going to focus because the lens cap is on, but you can see immediately that light turning on. If I change my focus point to anywhere else but in the center, if I just quickly turn it this way, you'll see that light is not turning on. You should be able to hear on my mic. You should be able to hear the camera's lens trying to get focus, but there's no light for it. So I'm going to put it back in the middle. And there you can see, if I put it in the middle focus point, the camera is turning on this Autofocus Assist Beam. If I open this lens cap, there's enough light there. The camera does not turn that beam on. It just focuses immediately because there's enough light in the room. The moment it's dark, like when I put the lens cap on, if you're working in a very dark room, the light will automatically come on. Just make sure on this camera, it's the same on the D7000, the other camera I've got, this works the same. As long as the camera is set to automatic focus and the focus point is in the middle, the center focus point, it comes on without any problems. Right, so let's have a quick practical look on the Canon PowerShot, how to use this Autofocus Assist Beam. And we're also going to, before we do that, actually a very good idea. Yeah, I've got a normal Energizer hard case light. You can use any light if you want to. I'm also going to use this to show you that you can also use this to add some extra light on your subject. What do you do if your subject matter is meters away and your autofocus assist beam does not properly, or does not illuminate all the way to there? What can you do to take a picture of, say, a person outside? It might be sunset, or maybe you've got a nice, how can I say, a nice location behind a person with the city light, a cityscape behind them. You want to take a picture. You've got your flash turned on, obviously, otherwise you will not get a picture of that person. But you want that in the background. Now, that person is obviously going to be pitch black where that person is. You can use either a light like this to illuminate the person. If the light can shine that far, you can use the light to illuminate the person, for the camera can see where to focus. Or, very easy, just take your cell phone that for some reason I not have on me, and I actually want to make a joke about who doesn't have their cell phone on them these days. And I don't have mine. Okay, it's in the room on the charger. Okay, so take the cell phone and just ask the person to put it next to their face right here, and then right next to the eyes, because the eyes are usually the thing you want to focus on. Take the cell phone, turn it on, put it right here, and then focus on the cell phone screen. Once you've got focus, tell the person, okay, put the phone away, turn it off, put it in his pocket or her pocket, and shoot, because you've already got your focus. You've got you press the shutter button halfway to get the focus. Once you've got the focus for the cell phone, just let the person put the phone away, and then just smile, and there you go, you've got your picture. Okay, so that you can also do to get the camera to focus. Just add some extra light where there is not enough light for the camera to focus. So let's have a practical look on the SX50HS, and then we're also going to take the Nikon D3100 to look at lack of contrast right after that. Okay, so for our practical test, I've turned all the video lights off in the room, and I've only got one LED video panel shining right at the back, so it's very, very dark actually in here compared to what I had previously. The main video camera is shooting at very high ISO, just to show you what you're actually seeing. So right here, our model for the day is Zombie Pikachu. Okay, so Zombie Pikachu is posing for us in all its bloody glory. Okay. So the first thing I want to show you, if you look at the back of the camera screen, I'm going to go to menu. Now on menu, if you go down to autofocus, oh, I think I just passed it. Here we go. AF assist beam. Now currently it's turned on. I'm going to turn it off now, just to show you what's going to happen if it's not turned on. Now if I'm going to try to focus, you're going to see the camera is trying to focus. You should see a yellow block of an exclamation mark. So there's not enough light in here. Now, like I said, I'm shooting very high eyes on a video camera, so it's actually a lot darker in here than it should be. I actually press too hard and I try to take a picture. So the camera is trying to focus, but it can't get proper focus. There it actually got some focus, but it's struggling to get focus. Now to assist the camera, I'm going to press the menu button again. I'm going to go down with the little wheel, the arrows. I'm just going to go to AF assist beam. I'm going to turn this on. Now once I've turned this on, you're going to see a blue light there on Mr. Zombie Pikachu, and immediately the camera's got focus. Now I can take a picture like this. It's a 1 second exposure, so I'm shooting for the light in the room. I can turn the pop-up flash on, just pop the pop-up flash, and then as you can see, I'm currently in AV, I'm in aperture priority. So there I'm focusing, and then I just shoot. So I'm on aperture priority, the camera is taking care of the shutter speed. But if you go to preview now and you compare the two, you'll see the flash image is a lot more lit than the one without the flash, but the one without the flash actually looks a little bit more scary because of the side light coming from the video panel in the back of the room. Okay, so then we've got two options to our image. That's the one without the flash, and this is the one with the flash. But for both of these images, I had the autofocused assist beam turned on. Then you can also use, like here, I've got an LED light. So I can shine the LED light here, and it will help me to focus as well. So even if I turn the autofocus assist beam off, this will help me to see, or for me to see where I must take a picture if it's very dark, and also for the camera to see where to focus. So you can just use a normal light like this. Okay, so now let's use the Nikon D3100 and see how that affects the contrast when we try to focus if there's not a lot of contrast. Okay, I'm now going to use the Nikon D3100 to show you how your camera struggles with contrast. You can use any camera for this. I'm only using this camera because I want to use the focus points through the viewfinder, and also I want you to hear on the lens when the camera is struggling to focus. You can hear the lens on my lapel mic, or you should be able to hear it. You can hear that as it's trying to get focus, and then when it's happy, when I'm focusing on the correct spot, you're going to immediately hear the beeping sound. Okay, so you can use any camera for this. The setup, very basic. I turned one of the video lights back on in the room so it's not as dark in here anymore. And then I've just put a piece of black paper and white paper there. So when I focus on the white piece of paper, so I'm going to turn my camera on, and then I'm going to use the middle point and focus only on the white. Now listen to my lens as it's struggling to focus. You should be able to hear that now on the lapel mic. Okay, so it can't focus just on the white. If I go over to the black side, again, the same middle focus point. You can even see my camera is turning the autofocus assist beam on. And again, it does not focus. But if I now go and I focus right here where the black and the white meet, that contrast right there, they're going to hear immediately. There we are, focus, focus, focus. No matter where I focus on that line, the camera is happy and I immediately get focused. So the next time you're trying to focus on something, if you've got maybe an object you're taking a picture of, but it's got maybe a flat surface and there's no real contrast on that section, just look for somewhere else on that object or whatever you're taking a picture of where you do have contrast, and you'll see your camera will immediately, or at least easier, it will focus much easier on the subject if it's got some contrast to work with. If you're taking a picture of a person, very important, focus on the eyes. The eyes are the windows to the soul. There's lots of contrast going on right there. You've got your eyelashes, your eye, your pupil, everything. A camera's got a lot to work with. So focus on the eyes when you're working with people. But otherwise, just look for sections where you do have contrast, and that'll solve your problem. Okay, that's that for this week's episode. I hope this really helps you to get your focusing perfect when you're working in either a dark location where you can't get the camera to focus properly, or where there's lack of contrast. Remember, just look for a place where there's lots of information, like on a person's face. Look at the eyes. If you want to take a picture of a person and your camera is struggling to focus, focus on the eyes. It's always the place you want to focus on anyway with a person, but there's lots of contrast. You have the eye and the pupil and the eyelashes and everything. The camera's got a lot to work with, so it's going to focus a lot easier here than will focus on someone's face, which is maybe a very clean, pure model type face, and the camera is just struggling to get focus there. Okay, so if you have any photographic questions, please send it to askmwest@mwest.co.za, and we will try to answer that for you in a future episode. Then, you should have done this a long time ago, and if you haven't, press the subscribe button right there. I'm going to send Zombie Pikachu your way. You don't want that to happen, so I want to see those buttons pressed. Press it, or this is coming your way. Okay, so that's all for this week's episode, and then I'll see you next week. It's a must-see episode. You don't want to miss it, where we are going to talk about manual and the exposure triangle. So we're really going to take the camera on manual. We're going to adjust the shutter, the aperture, the ISO, everything. I'm going to show you how to do that by yourself. So you don't want to miss that one. See you next week. Bye.